Luke Cage has a theme song, a lyrical ballad bestowed upon him by the people. In this case, Method Man, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and Adrian Younge. But of course, he's not the only hero we can celebrate with a song. Everyone uses music to connect with others, find themselves, or show off their personality. With songs that can tell the universe who they are. And I'm gonna listen to them. I've searched the cosmos for each hero's personal soundtrack to gather their songs onto a snappy little playlist, which I'm calling Make Mine Marvel Music.
On CD or cassette, now that's what I call music.
Since this video is covering the second half of the playlist, let me remind you of my stipulations. We're covering every Marvel Studios movie and TV show, which includes sequels, but not seasons. One hero for every production, and one song for every hero. No repeats. And fortunately, we have actors, directors, and music supervisors who know these characters better than anyone. And every once in a while, we have Adrian Younge, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and Method Man's Bulletproof Love, a diegetic tribute performed by an artist the hero is a fan of while wearing the clothes off his back.
And there ain't no Iron Man that can come and save us all. Power to the people and Luke Cage the cause, and the cops got it wrong. We don't think Cage involved. Look, dog, a hero never had one. Already took Malcolm and Martin, this is the last one. I beg your pardon, somebody pulling the fast one. Now we got a hero for hire and he a black one.
And that's not the only tribute paid to an MCU character by a recording artist. A panel from 1967's Strange Tales, number 158, appears on the album cover for Pink Floyd's Saucerful of Secrets, released a year later. And the Sorcerer Supreme is mentioned by name in their song Cymbeline a year after that.
Doctor Strange is always changing sides.
Now, Stephen Strange may not be the fan who loans Syd Barrett the Cloak of Levitation off his back. Psychedelic rock is more of Thor's thing.
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
But music supervisor Dave Jordan has the perfect Pink Floyd jam for this strange journey. The 10-minute song starts with driving guitar chords that suit Stephen's car commercial lifestyle, goes into some distorted feedback suited for a car crash, follows with some very heart monitor-like tones, and finally visits the mind-expanding sounds of a far-off world. Speaking of, the living weapon of Kunlun,
Danny Rand, son of Wendell Rand.
the immortal Iron Fist.
Danny Rand.
Though his
Daniel
musical
Thomas
tastes
Rand.
are more in line with Luke Cage's, with an iPod full of New York hip-hop and inspiration from members of the Wu-Tang Clan. Danny repeatedly makes Killah Priest's Heat of the Moment a point of focus during Central Park meditations. Also, RZA directed episode 6. Now, I don't have the street cred on my own to know all of this. An article from Bustle described Killah Priest's relationship to spirituality present in his lyrics mirroring that of Danny's reliance on spiritual training to get him through the difficult situations he keeps putting himself in. And then I just read the article. And here's another one. James Gunn told the Rolling Stone there are two songs that are most deeply embedded into the fibers of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. One of them is Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, because, quote, it is about the Guardians, at least in the way we use it, and we use it a couple of different times in the movie. Since I already picked a song for the collective Guardians, I'm gonna bend my rule a little bit and pretend that Peter went solo, like he kind of did in the movie, and pick the same song. And it still works because Gunn uses the song a couple of different ways in the movie. Throughout this entire franchise, The Chain remains the only non-diegetic track we've heard so far. And this one instance occurs as Peter Quill taps into his full potential without the aid of his Walkman or his mother's songs. This song he channels on his own. Peter Parker also does it for himself after not being taken seriously for the entirety of Spider-Man Homecoming. When Peter returns from superhero exploits abroad, we are reintroduced to a quiet and often overlooked Peter Parker with an instrumental version of Spoon's The Underdog. And I have to believe, if Peter was still in the spider suit, he'd be reciting the lyrics.
Talk to the water boy. And there's so much you could learn, but you don't want to know. You will not back up an inch of it. That's why you will not survive.
Hey, you know what else has Spider-Man, a band of misanthropes, supernatural martial arts, and members of the Wu-Tang Clan? Protect Your Neck, placed over the final battle of the Defenders. Surprisingly, there are few moments where the Defenders work as a team and fight alongside each other. The stronger moment being their final battle with the Hand set to the Wu-Tang Clan. It's no coincidence members and tracks have been featured on Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Wu-Tang Clan is a gathering of personalities who all hold their own solo but can really kick some ass as a group. Alright, I'm out of segues now. Most of the songs in Inhumans come at low points for the royal family, outside Maximus, who has 2 classic rock covers to kick off his coup in the first episode. The high points tend to revolve around Karnak or Crystal. There really isn't a moment for the whole cast. However, there is a moment that signifies the family finally turning the tide against Maximus, and that moment is set to Alex Clare's cover of Blow Up the Outside World. I did say that Inhumans couples covers like Claire's collab on Chris Cornell's classic To the Caste System Coup, and the lyrics are definitely in Maximus' point of view. But the song blares during the moment of his downfall, so we can attribute it to our Inhuman protagonists. Though I suppose it depends on who you think the real villain of this series is. But let's get back to heroes. Thor Ragnarok. We've already paid tribute to Thor, Hulk, Loki, and Led Zeppelin. Now this is Valkyrie's time in the sun. And by Odin's beard, there is already a soundtrack for it. Tessa Thompson collected lots of musical artists to help build her character, a method which I fully endorse. They include David Bowie, Death Grips, Septica, Peaches, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Kate Bush, Warpaint, and many others. But she led the female warrior musicians on a Spotify playlist, which I will link in the description. And from her playlist, I summoned Bjork's Army of Me to herald Valkyrie's arrival.
Self-sufficient, please, and get to work. And if you complain once more, you'll be done. I'm lovely.
The image of a one-woman army aside, the song touts self-isolation while still threatening to bring the pain. A song becoming of a forsaken soldier. In the same vein, Punisher's 11th episode begins with a rare Marilyn Manson track that doesn't get out very much. Fated, Faithful, Fatal. The show's composer, Tyler Bates, is a former lead guitarist of Manson's. And maybe that's why a song that's just Manson, guitar, and lyrics which feel like the conflicted identity of a discharged soldier felt so appropriate for a quiet scene of Frank reflecting on the betrayal by his brother in arms. The Runaways are an interesting group to define, with wildly varied personalities and a catalog of needle drops larger than the MCU. After scrubbing through the songs, I kept it simple and came back to the one that introduces the group. Rory and Tom Morello's Friends. It has the right vibe for the Runaways. It's consistently moving, finding new people, and trying to stay positive the whole time. It says the Runaways will be okay as long as they have each other. My pick for King T'Challa is everything I could hope for in an epitomistic song for a superhero. The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar's Pray For Me.
Spread out. The buyer is likely already here.
A joint collaboration in which both recording artists speak from the perspective of the hero, champion their values, explore their plights, take inspiration from their world, and announce them as they enter the room.
When this life is all I know, tell me who's gonna save me from this hell? Without you, I'm alone. Who need a hero? You need a hero. Look in the mirror, there go your hero. Who on the front lines at ground zero? Hero. It's all prophecy, and if I gotta be sacrificed for the greater good, then that's what it gotta be.
Okay. With a whole group of remarkable people brought together, which is the standout hero of Infinity War? It's easy, Scarlet Witch, no contest. But what song celebrates or exemplifies Wanda Maximoff best? That's a harder question to answer. Unlike everyone else I've just talked about, no one has assigned a plethora of music to this character. So instead, I turn to friends who know her best. And they like the sound of Florence and the Machine's Seven Devils.
Seven devils all around me. Seven devils in my house. So baby, I will come this morning and I'll be dead before the day.
I'll admit, since I didn't pick the song, I don't really have an argument for it. Other than Florence is pretty witchy herself, and there's just something about this song. I'll let you decide who or what Wanda's Seven Devils might be. Cloak and Dagger has a lot of music on their soundtrack, but only one partnership of differing musical genres working in concert. To the Grave by B. Miller and Mike Stud. And it comes in episode 8 when Ty and Tandy embrace their powers and use them to get their respective revenge.
Yeah, and I put that on everything. Yeah, telling me I should let it be. Nah, that ain't part of my pedigree.
I never thought I'd give it all away, but I set myself free. I never thought I'd give it all away. See, I'm breaking down. Let the words fall from my mouth. All the things I
This song is a balance of the angry or sad girl emo music that Olivia Holt once joked helps her get up all in her feels for Dagger, and the upbeat hip-hop Aubrey Joseph would have played for Cloak going into battle. Not to mention, the whole season kept telling us one of them would meet an early grave.
Oh, I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part?
Like Scarlet Witch, there isn't a lot of musical attention paid to the Wasp. So this time I turned to the internet and fan-made playlists for the character. And the song I kept noticing was actually made as an anthem for another girl power icon, Katniss Everdeen of the Hunger Games. Still, the persistent buzzing and imagery of a yellow flicker beat has imparted Lord's tribute now onto Hope Van Dyne.
This is the start of how it all ends. They used to shout my name, now they whisper it. I'm speeding up, and this is the red, orange, yellow flicker beat sparking up my heart.
Captain Marvel is an awesome collection of 90s alternative that puts a lot of songs in the spotlight. But hidden deep in the back of Carol's mind, in the end credits, is a contemporary number from a 90s alternative star called I'm So Free.
Who am I supposed to be in the middle of the day with no good connection? I'm so free now. I'm so free now. I'm so free now. And the way that I walk is up to me now. I'm a freeze out. These enemies out. They never see that I got no need to play my gas now. I'm so free. I'm so free. I'm so free.
Captain Marvel's soundtrack does more than set a fun tone. It also demonstrates the many facets of the protagonist's personality, subtly suggests a mood, or provides catharsis when needed, all with songs that belong in a 1995 setting. Truly noteworthy work from music supervisor Dave Jordan. Wow, I have a lot on my playlist to him. Beck's colorful anthem does all of that, except that it isn't from the 90s, but rather a luminary of the 90s who soared into the future. Just like Captain Danvers. See what I did there? All right. When it came time for the endgame, it was fun to speculate which hero would finally have their moment. Okoye and Wong had both made it to the posters, but I had a feeling it'd be Bucky saving the day, sacrificing himself as an act of atonement for the many sins that resulted from intense mental abuse as a trained assassin. But I was wrong. I don't think anyone expected Nebula to step up to the occasion and be the breakout hero of the MCU's finale. And I say this because there were no fan-made playlists or Super Friend fans to consult. Yet despite this, I asked around, and wouldn't you know it, the Dresden Dolls kept coming up. So I got to revisit the Dresden Dolls. Then I rediscovered Girl Anachronism. It is tumultuous, anxious, bitter, and the singer is just as deeply misunderstood as Nebula.
From the scars on my arms and the cracks in my hips and the dents in my car and the blisters on my lips that I'm not the carefulest of girls. You can tell from the glass on the floor and the strings that are breaking, and I keep on breaking more, and it looks like I am shaking, but it's just the temperature. Then again, if it were any colder, I could disengage. If I were any older, I would act my age, but I don't think that you believe me. It's not the way I'm meant to be. It's just the way the operation made me.
And that's it. That's the playlist. Let me know in the comments which hero or song is your favorite pick. Oh, yeah, right, Spider-Man Far From Home. Well, since the Infinity Saga, the Avengers Initiative, the path Tony started, that whole thing ends with Endgame, I figured the playlist might as well too. I mean, Far From Home was kind of an epilogue, but I'm pretty sure it was supposed to start a whole new thing.
It's time to move on to a new phase.
There's a multiverse?
Besides, we already gave Peter a song, so who would be the breakout hero of Far From Home? Mysterio was an imposter. Nick Fury was an imposter. So where would we even... Okay, yeah, you're right. It's Happy. Happy Hogan is the unsung hero of this movie and deserves to have his song. Heck, he's the hero of the whole franchise, and we should honor Harold Hogan by having him finish the playlist. So help me. What song do you think is Happy's anthem? Leave your suggestions in the comments. Share some ideas, start a discussion, put me in touch with Jon Favreau. Together, I'm sure we can find the perfect soundtrack for our favorite forehead of security. Something elegant.